Hello guys, welcome to a quick BTC update video. Today we're going to start on the higher time frames and talk a little bit about spot, talk a little bit more plan on spot, and have I brought more spot, have I sold my spot. First and foremost, I haven't done anything on spot yet. I still hold, I haven't brought more. If I'm going to buy more spot, I need to go down to lows again, meaning that between 49k and 60k around there is a zone I'm bidding spot. DCA. If we stay above, I'm gonna focus on trades, short, longs, swing and intraday. But for swings, longs and spot, I'm being patient. I'm not chasing any spot. I'm not gonna buy any local high. That's not gonna happen. That doesn't correlate with my plan, and I have a plan, and that's to buy at the lows and sell at the highs with time, with patience. Target on the spot bag is pretty much 100k plus prior at the high, and the bigger target and my next all-time high target will be around 150k to 160k. That's my big Bitcoin target, meaning that if you go up there, I'm gonna sell my spot. I'm focused on trades. If you go higher, sure, I can take some longs, no worries. On low time frame chart, actually the higher time frame chart, this remains a pretty key zone to me. We have these highs. Been building some liquidity up here, so I expect some liquidity. That's why I have this dollar sign, liquidity, around this zone. So getting a test of that during Asia tonight potentially, or at least in the coming week, will be extremely telling. Acceptance above, we visit range highs, keep trading below, expect potential new lows, at least to test some local levels is very possible. But for now, the price is definitely holding strong, and it doesn't really make sense to FOMO into anything, not into short and longs. The thing that makes sense, at least to me, would be to just be patient and wait for more clarity and hitting some key zones. But if we potentially SFP this on the higher time frame, looking for a short, could make sense potentially to target some lower levels. But the thing is, it's likely building up some liquidity up here. So if we potentially would get acceptance above, the next strong resistance in my book is up here. And that's a zone I'm gonna look for a short, 100% sure. That's a zone I'm gonna look for a short. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna over risk, but I'm gonna look to take a short up there. That's just because that's my plan, and I'm gonna watch for triggers on the way up. And that's going to be taken as a day trade, so I'm going to take out the risk on the way down. But if it gives signals turning to potentially be a swing trade, I could potentially add the trade, add margin, and try to run the trade a little bit more down. On the lows, we have pretty much had a pretty grind up with not much retrace, so been building some good liquidity below us. Here, untapped lows. So of course, sooner or later, I'm interested in looking for a long here to sweep all these lows. But that doesn't look like the next scenario. But sooner or later, I still think it's very possible to get a test of these lows, and then it makes sense to look for SFP to take a long trade. So if you just want to focus on the higher time frames, feel free to take a screenshot of this chart and focus on these levels, at least for now. And tomorrow we're going to take some look at low time frames and look for some lower time frame setups. On my lower time frame chart, we can pretty much see that this is also a zone we are approaching of resistance, lines up with the other resistance I shared. If you break above, I'm going to look for something up here to potentially take a short, but it's not looking super clear to me on lower time frame, so I don't really have that. I need to go long here, for example, I need to go short. I just want to see more development and potentially see what Asia does before New York tomorrow, and share some setups both on Twitter and in a group what I think is potential trading zones before New York, because it doesn't look extremely clear to me as of now. We have formed a signal print below us. That's something to watch. But as you can see here, we haven't really had any major retrace after this pretty impulsive leg up. So this day level would potentially be pretty good to test based on filling this impulsive leg. And the thing is, we have been testing this level a few times now. Here we got a pretty relative equal high up here, so if we break above, be careful. Looking for SFP makes sense to wick above and take a short, but if we don't see weakness, meaning that we don't see momentum getting lower while price getting higher, it tends and it tells us to be careful on the short side, and we potentially will see a move towards 66, 65, 7 at least. That's at least something I'm watching. As I just told you, don't really have any super clear zones on low time frames. I'm gonna watch the key levels, and on the range, we're going to take a look at the range. It's pretty much the same thing we have been talking about. It's pushing the range value high here, but we have been pushing that range value high for a good while right now. So if you don't see a bigger breakdown very soon, based on the range, it makes sense to test range highs. Range highs in this case is this. That's the range highs. And the range point control actually looks pretty interesting right now because of the confluences and the current context. So testing the range point control may actually be a very good scenario. But sooner or later, again, we talked about testing these lows sooner or later would be extremely good based on all the relative equal lows and the liquidity resting below. We have been building for a good while. So pretty much above here, be careful, look for signals to take a short. If we don't see weakness signals, the best zone to look for is the range highs. And below, confluences line up with 64 with the range point control, and also the major zone is around 61k. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to join the group where I share setups, link in the description, and have major links to all the exchanges in the description, check it out. And I wish you a fantastic new week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.